The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Café.
Welcome to this episode of Pit Life BBQ. Gather round the pit with your hosts, Johnny Maggs and Greg the Barbecue Broker DiGiorgio. Let's talk barbecue.
What's up, everybody? Coming to you live from the Studio 21 Podcast Café in Salem, New Hampshire. It's the Pit Life BBQ podcast where we talk everything barbecue and a lot of other topics that you normally talk around the pit. As always, I'm joined by the barbecue broker.
Yeah, dog.
Welcome home.
Oh, yeah. So much to talk about.
Yeah.
But before we do that, let's get into things quickly. Because we got a lot to talk about. So, you gonna lower that?
I hit the wrong button.
I remember my
Sausage fingers.
I remember my first day on TV as well.
Oh, please.
Today's episode is brought to you by everyone's favorite Uncle Steve Shake. Ever wonder why no one's coming to your barbecues, but they're going to Chrissy's barbecue? Because Chrissy's using Uncle Steve Shake, and apparently you're not, which means one thing, John.
You better get you some.
Damn straight. Uncle Steve Shake is handmade, uses the finest ingredients, and comes in 12 amazing flavors. If you can eat it, Uncle Steve has a shake for it. And if you have any shake questions, Uncle Steve has fantastic customer service to walk you through all your shake needs. Time to take your backyard and that competition game to that next level with Uncle Steve Shake. Shake some on everything. UncleSteveShake.com. Check them out. And this episode also brought to you by
Two Guys Smoke Shop and TwoGuysCigars.com. Whether we are barbecuing or not, we always keep the smoke rolling. Thanks to our friends at TwoGuysCigars.com. Today we are smoking the Timeless Prestige.
It's very nice.
Yes. Thanks to our friends at TwoGuysCigars.com, we get to smoke some of the best cigars in the world, and so can you. Just visit TwoGuysCigars.com for your perfect barbecue companion. That's the number 2, GuysCigars.com.
You got it.
And we're also brought to you by
Backline Smokers, Backline Fabrication out of Austin, Texas. Mr. Ryan Newland. Just pumping out, simply said, some of the best offset smokers, live fire devices, competition cart pits you've ever laid your eyes on. I'm telling you right now, he puts his love into this. He puts your love into this. He gets to know what you like, how you tick, what makes you move, incorporates these things into his build. This is exactly why no pits look the same, and the opportunities are absolutely endless. So check out Ryan Newland, Backline Fabrication in Austin, Texas. You will not be sorry that you did. BacklineFabrication.com. What else you got? Today's episode also brought to you by
Magna Chef Gloves. Guys, these, in my opinion, are the best barbecue gloves on the market today. Our brother Al Infante knows a little bit about fire management, fire safety, seeing he's a Miami-Dade firefighter who designed and produces these gloves. And he thought of everything. Food-grade silicone, patented magnetic clips. You know, instead of fumbling around trying to get the gloves off, clip them right in, little twist, pull your hand right out, no problem. Even these sausage fingers fit right in there, and boom, right back on, piece of cake. Easy on and off, heat rated up to 500 degrees, web fit for a firm grip, one size fits all, dishwasher safe, but more importantly,
Made in America.
made right here in the USA.
America.
So go to magnechef.com. That's
Yes.
MAGNECHEF.com. Order yourself, 2-3 pair.
I'm just
one
saying.
one for the comp trailer, one for the backyard, one for the kitchen.
Wash these things in and out. They come off easy, and they don't have that stupid cotton thing inside. Every time you pull your fingers out, you're trying to get the pinky back in or whatever. You know, that kind of gets aggravating. And I can wrap briskets in those, too. I know I've said it a bazillion times. I'll keep saying it. I can wrap briskets in with those on pretty easily, which saves you money on the nitro gloves.
Yep.
There, I said it.
And at checkout, use code ROYAL21 for 15% off.
Yep.
That's Royal21 promo code at magnechef.com. Master the fire.
Kent.
And we are also brought to you by CustomCuttingBoards.rs.com. Ian Hemming out of Magnolia, Texas.
You got it.
Is producing some of the best cutting boards on the market today.
It really is.
These boards take an absolute beating from the dishwasher board, which would be your normal countertop size, to the massive brisket board, 36 by 18, to the newly released pizza board for all the pizza lovers out there.
I love pizza.
Me too.
I know, just saying.
All the grooves cut in for the perfect measured slices. Well-balanced double handle so it doesn't go flying.
It works as advertised, bottom line.
Works as advertised. Check them out at customcuttingboardsrus.com. That is the letter R, us.com.
Money.
So, obviously, no one took me up on the price of keeping you down there in Texas.
Ken said that he didn't kill me or leave me there, so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
What's up, KO? What's up, Crawdaddy? What's up, gentlemen? What's up, Chris?
Uncle
Thank you.
Steve, what's happening?
Uncle
Ben
Steve.
Ross.
Look, before I say anything about how fun it was, this or that, everyone's great, because you know it's all coming. But before I get into that, there's a special dedication out and a special thank you to Uncle Steve, because this specific Texas trip for myself and many would not have been possible without Steve Brown from Uncle Steve. Generosity, hospitality, it goes on. I'm extremely grateful to Uncle Steve for the invite and for the people that I had the opportunity to meet in person. Was life-changing for me. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you, Uncle Steve. Thank you. I can't even say it enough. I just can't say it enough.
Junior, what's happening?
But man,
Max.
dude, it was so fun meeting everyone out there, the experience of everything. And I got to say, right here, boys, TBC, Texas BBQ Chapter, much love for you guys. We had our first kind of in-person collaboration of New England Pit Master, Pit Life BBQ, and TBC just kind of all coming together. So big shout out to my boys.
There's Schmitty right there.
Schmitty, what's up, dog? Schmitty.
Marty.
Big Rome. Marty V. Mad Max. Robert. Man.
Big Kano.
Big Kano, man. Big Kano got the dance moves. You got to see this guy. I mean, him and Big Rome out there, man, I was like, damn, do I get out there and do my shit? These guys are just, it's a tough act to follow. These guys are tearing it up.
That's right.
But TBC, just much love to you guys. Much love to Uncle Steve. You know, meeting guys like Dutch in person, Daddy Dutch, you know, Chef Johnny, John Barton, Bill from Chicken Fried BBQ.
And Brother Bill is right there.
What's
Chicken
up?
Fried.
What's up, Bill? Man, you know, I actually got to meet also Dan Arnold from Sucklebusters, because the TBC boys know him pretty well. Also got to meet Matt Pittman in person, former guest of the show of Meat Church. It was just like barbecue overload, sensory overload. The smells of all the different smokes. The smell of post oak finally hit my lungs, which I've never smelled before. It was just unbelievable. We all got a chance to go out and hit Truth Barbecue on Friday. Leonard Botello doing some amazing things at Truth, and Snow's Barbecue, as you could see. Went out there, got a hug from Tootsie, had her pork steak, had the sausage, had the brisket, had the ribs, met Clay, met Kerry. It was unbelievable. I'm still on sensory overload. But I got some gifts from our boys for you, okay?
That's where rumor had it.
And if I forgot anyone out there, by the way, it was unintentional, and it was just live, and I forgot. So here we go, real quick. Schmitty's Twisted Throttle Barbecue.
Nice.
That's for you.
That's for me.
Okay. And his sauce, by the way, is legit. It does not really taste the way it looks, in my opinion.
What the hell is
What
the hell does that mean?
In other words, it looks more bold, but then when you taste it, it's so balanced. It's delicious. Because, you know, you look at something, you go, oh, that looks sweet, or that looks more savory.
Okay. Yeah,
it looks like it would be a more
got it.
savory sauce, but it's damn delicious, balanced. And not that I don't like a savory sauce. It just looks more balanced than it would lead to believe. So it's freaking awesome. I love it. TBC all-purpose chapter rub for you.
TBC.
Big Rome Competitions saison for you.
Very well pronounced.
I try to learn from my brothers. Mad Max calling you out, number 1. Calling you out, number 2. Now, I'm going to say something about these rubs real quick. My wife, she always goes through my rubs when I bring rubs home to see what she likes to cook with, this and that. She went through all the rubs, and she picked Mad Max's rubs to put in her spice cabinet instead of my spice cabinet for whatever reason. So for whatever reason, Mad Max, my wife has taken ownership of the rubs that you gave me. Okay? She's like, ooh, I can do something with these. So whatever, she's got them. Boom. Fantastic. And then the big man himself, Big Kano, Texas all-purpose rub, baby. Pachow.
Nice.
We also got a TBC T-shirt for you, my dude.
Nice.
I know one other guy that has one. Just saying. And a couple stickers, of course.
Push it right in my face.
A couple stickers. We got a Texas BBQ Chapter sticker. We got a Schmitty Twisted Throttle sticker.
Oh, that'll go on the cabinet tonight.
We got you I could not bring the boys one and not you one, my brother. Barbecue Broker hat.
Look at this. It's like Christmas.
And former guest Danielle BBQ. Hope you're feeling better. I know she was having a knee operation. But she talked very highly of Buc-ee's.
Yep.
And they're beaver nuts. Nuggets. I know, I just like to say the word nuts. Beaver nuggets, okay? So I brought you, it was going to be more than half a bag, but my kids were eating these on the couch. Try a beaver nugget.
I want to try a beaver nugget, then we're going to go get right into whatever the hell we're doing.
Of course
Chrissy,
I do.
Chrissy,
Of course I
come
do.
here. Try a couple beaver nuggets.
And if I could also just quickly give a shout out and say thank you very much to Big
Oh,
Kano
boy.
for I got a jar of rub as well. So
Oh, yeah.
What are they like to you?
Corn
packing
pops.
pellets. Oh,
Corn pops meets kettle corn.
Yep. Exactly. Call.
Bun, done.
yeah.
Onward.
So, with everybody that you met down there, oddly enough, there was one person you did not meet down there,
It's so
and
funny.
you were right next to him.
I met next week's guest.
You met next week's guest.
Last week.
Last week's guest. What did I say? Next
No,
week's?
you met this week's guest last week.
I met next week's guest
But
this past
actually,
week.
next week's guest,
Next week's
he
guest
met down there.
I met down there who took Reserve Grand. But the dude that was the closest to me, that I walked by probably 172 times every 3 hours, was our guest for today.
And let's get down to the
Brass
brass
tacks.
tacks. Ladies and
Brass
gentlemen.
tacks.
The brass tacks.
Hey! Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome out of Sinton, Texas, head cook of Red Mule's Badass Barbecue, the one and only Mr. Lee Hickel. Lee, what's up, brother?
What's going on, fellas, down here in Texas?
Nice. Man, thank you so much for taking time to join us today and talking some barbecue with us.
Yes, sir.
I'm honored. I got one question. How did you put all that stuff in your suitcase to go back home?
Bro,
Did all that fit?
funny story, real quick, is I went to the airport and I left Boston. It was a 43-pound bag. I came to the airport in Texas with 60 pounds in my bag. And I literally had to go to the repacking station because it cost $150 to check a heavy bag and take about 8 pounds of rub that I had, stuck it in my already full backpack of electronics and shit, and that ended up smushing a rotten banana down flat at the bottom of my bag.
That's
It's
all right.
all electronics, which I couldn't get out in the plane. It was miserable, but worth it because this is all good stuff. But it was
That's right.
It was very interesting. Then they had to test each bottle with sticky stuff to make sure there was no residue on it or whatever. I'm like, okay, dude, it's just barbecue rub coming from the Houston Rodeo. But yeah, that was a project in itself. But man, couldn't believe that I walked by your pit maker area and I was admiring those pits, just looking in at them. And you were standing right there. And I think you even looking familiar now that I look at you.
Go like that. Yes, I remember.
I think I was like, "What's up, dude?" And you're like, "Hey, man." You were like walking, you had like tongs in your hand or something. You were just chilling. Oh man!
Oddly enough, a few days later,
Here we are. Right.
It's love. It was meant to be.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So Lee, you have definitely an interesting story of your, competition career and what you have accomplished in those years. But before we
Yes.
get into that, who is Lee Hickel, and how did your barbecue journey begin?
Wow. So Lee Hickel grew up in Arkansas, joined the Coast Guard in the late 80s.
Thank you for your service.
22 years retired Coast Guard, 2011. Own and operate a couple funeral homes, one in Sinton, one in Aransas Pass. Yeah, you look at me like I'm kind of crazy. That's very true. So I just finished my 3rd year of competition barbecue. So almost 4 years ago, my brother-in-law in Houston called me up, said, "Hey, there's a barbecue cook-off at the BFW. You want to come cook it?" I'm like, "I don't even own a barbecue pit." So I didn't. I've never cooked on a barbecue pit. A lot of my buddies cooked on barbecue pits. I never did. So I drove around Texas for a couple days, and I found a pit up in Houston. Unfortunately, it wasn't Pit Maker. It was a different barbecue pit. Bought it, took it to Houston at the VFW, came in dead last. I've never cooked on a offset using post oak. I've never done that before. It was new to me. I was used to propane. So I was embarrassed by being dead last, right? I just couldn't figure it out. So I kind of saw some other cook-offs in Texas, went to there. I came in dead last again. So I got really embarrassed 2 times in a row. So then I met up with a couple of people at the Nueces County in Corpus Christi at a cook-off. And they kind of guided me in the right direction on, you can take barbecue classes. I'm like, I didn't even know you can take barbecue classes. Never heard of this. Keep in mind, this is 2017 when this has happened.
Yeah.
So I started cooking in the International Barbecue Cookers Association my first year. And lo and behold, my first year of cooking, I finished #1 cook of the year.
Yeah.
#1 rib, #1 brisket, #2 chicken. That was in 2019. Then 2020 came around. That was a Corona year. I think I cooked 17 or 19 cook-offs. Well, I finished 2nd place team of the year. So that was my 2 years of cooking. I would have cooked longer than that, but August 25th of 17, Hurricane Harvey came. I lost everything I owned.
Yeah.
Right.
Man.
So I lost my house, lost my business. So for 10 months, I didn't cook until 18. And that's where we pick up being cook of the year for 19, 20 runner up. And then this last year, 2021, let me venture out and try KCBS. So last year, 2021 was my 3rd year of cooking barbecue. I jumped in the KCBS circuit. Man, you talking about a whole different creature.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I really wasn't used to, because Texas barbecue is 1/2 of a chicken, 7 slices of brisket,
Okay.
7 ribs. And our judges never touch our food. They use the flimsiest plastic fork and knife,
I heard this.
and they cut it, and they never touch it.
Is that IBCA?
So-
Is that IBCA league?
IBCA.
Okay.
So we always have to overcook everything. Overcook it all.
So it's
Make
tender.
roast beef on a stick, just whatever it may be.
Oh, man.
So KCBS, you got that delicate temperature for that right tenderness. So I struggled a little bit, but I tell you what, my only year doing KCBS, I finished overall in the rankings, 3rd in pork butt, 4th in ribs, 7th brisket, and 14th in chicken for 2021 at KCBS.
Nice. Great.
Yeah. So it's a little bit of a tear there,
Yeah.
So, we've had a lot of guys, since they were a little kid pulling on dad's pant leg, but you
Right.
just 2017,
Yeah.
and to have accomplished on the competition circuits, especially in Texas, what you have is absolutely mind blowing. What happened to the show?
So my first time cooking after Hurricane Harvey was in June of 2018 in a grand champion. Can you hear me?
Yep.
We hear you, but
Okay.
Christy, we're still live, right?
It booted us and got us back on.
Okay.
Facebook just had a brain fart.
Oh, okay.
Everybody. So we are back.
What happened? The show was blowing up, people said.
Yeah, it did. I looked over and the Facebook had booted us, but we're back up and going now. So.
Yeah, looks like
We are back
We're
up.
starting to get everyone back in now. Yep. Okay.
Nice. So in 2018, June 30th, 2018, I qualified for the American Royal, was my grand champion after being out for 10 months. So when I got an email from the American Royal saying he qualified to go to the American Royal, this is 2018. I had no idea what the American Royal was. Never heard of
my
it.
God.
So I Googled the American Royal,
You're like, oh.
and I saw what it was. Like, oh, this is a big thing. Hey,
Yeah.
this is a pretty big cook-off.
Oh,
here,
yeah.
right?
It's like,
Just a little bit.
yeah.
Just a little bit.
Like the biggest,
Oh,
maybe, right? Is it the biggest besides like what, Memphis
Yeah.
May, American
no,
Royale.
Royale's the biggest.
The World Series, right?
Yep.
Super Bowl.
Yeah,
so to speak.
500 teams, 13 countries, whatever, go to the American Roll. So I'm like, well, I've got to be part of the American Roll. So I signed up, went, I got murdered. I've never cooked pork butt and chicken thighs and legs and all that before. It was just a completely new experience doing KCBS.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of embarrassed by it, but hey, that's how it goes. So now we're in still 2019 cooking season. Either way, I finished up 18th in the nation with Smoking with Smithfield, 5th in the world at the World Food Championship. Got murdered the American Royal. Went back in 2020, had a 5th place pork butt at the American Royal. I kind of got the bite of it. And then that's what made me go KCBS in 21.
Nice.
I got the walk and get a 5th place pork butt for being a rookie.
That feels good. That money muscle's a tough. That money muscle's a tough one to hit. How many pork butts?
It is.
How many pork butts are you cooking in a contest now?
I started off with 4, now I do 3.
The trim for a pork butt is very different for a comp. They kind of scalp the whole top of it flat almost. Is that kind of a technique that you guys use to get us a certain shape of it?
That's what I'm learning. Yeah, I don't really worry about the tubes. I don't even know where the tubes are until a few weeks ago when I learned what tubes were. I just focused on the money muscle and the bacon.
Like these long things look kind of like what they should be. No, that's and so is it like you? So you got to keep your money muscle for KCBS has to be intact. The whole meat. You can't separate the money muscle. Correct?
Well, they changed the rules this year. So now it used to be a 4-pound minimum, and you had to leave the money muscle attached to your main butt until the money muscle was deemed done.
Which is
right,
technically
or cooked, so you can separate. Now there's no rule. So now you can cook money muscle only or pork collar. Right.
Oh,
they got
I didn't
rid
know
of that
that
4-pound rule.
because there was, I heard, a little gray area because technically at 165, pork is cooked.
Yes.
So what I hear what you could do is, you obviously trim around the money muscle to get as much bark as you can, around it, right?
Just that little sliver of fat kept it attached to the main pork butt.
But then at 165, you could actually separate that because technically it's cooked.
Yeah.
Not to exactly where you want it, but it's cooked to temperature. So then you can kind of cut it off at that point and baby that a little bit more, so to speak, than the rest of it. Common practice, that what you're seeing out there used to be kind of for that kind of what guys are doing? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Got to find the edge, John.
Yeah.
It's not always as cut and dry as one may think.
That's so true.
We did our first KCBS last. Me and the boys from the New England Pitmaster group, KU Crawdaddy and CMAC, and we did our first KCBS last June, and we did all right. It was close. We didn't take last in anything, but it was 25 or 30 teams or something like that. And we did like 26th in Brisket, which I thought we were going to do a lot better, but it was more of a presentation thing and not really knowing, that you can't have the fat, seam in it, and you should have your smoke ring on the top, and just like little tricks like that of presentation, I feel. Plus, we didn't use a Wagyu. I felt like we used a prime, but it was our first one, and I just couldn't see myself spending the money on a Wagyu for our first competition.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? But we ended up doing 22 in ribs, 21 in chicken, 14 in pork, and we took 13 in the SCA, which was our first ever state comp too. But the guys, the people around you, I feel, are so helpful. I mean, they knew we were the new guys. 30 teams of people that compete all the time. They were like, "Who are these? Who's New England Pitmaster Barbecue?" So people coming over laughing, like saying, "Hey, congratulations! Did you guys do any prep yet?" And we're like, "No." Like, "You didn't even prep your chicken yet?" We're like, "No." Everyone's like hanging out when we're supposed to be hanging out. We're doing prep, And I show up my 500 gallon, which is quite the large, competition smoker. But man, yeah, it's a whole, like you said, Lee, it's a whole different animal. But we're going to try to get at another one this year in June. It's coming back around.
That's good. I ended up hurting myself this year. I did 42 cook-offs in 10 months, February 1 to October 31st.
Man.
When you knock out 42 cook-offs in 10 months, that's a lot of traveling. I'd go out. Jeez. I live in Texas, so I left the end of January to go to Gadsden, Alabama. I did an East Coast tour, so on my way on the East Coast, I stopped in Alabama last year. Altitude, your eyeball level with God, 18 degrees. 11-degree incline in the mountains, which I've never really experienced that before. And my rig was offset. You know, all the grease went to one side.
Oh, man.
It was crazy, you know. But at the end of the day, I knocked out a first place Texas brisket at that cook off, and people didn't even know who the hell I was. And
Yeah.
here I am with the first place brisket, and then from there it went on. So out of the 42 cook-offs, I had 7 first place pork butts, 6 first place ribs, and 6 first place briskets, and 2 180 chickens.
Wow. Wait,
in those
180
42
chicken.
cook-offs.
Perfect.
That's a perfect chicken.
Perfect score.
Dang. So
Yes, sir.
what is the trick with the chicken not to get you got to make sure that it doesn't have a lot of pepper in there because you don't want it to be you want that nice mahogany color, correct?
If you want that answer, you need to buy Lee's class.
On the BBQ Academy or
BBQ
Champs Academy?
Champs Academy. Don't jump the gun. We're going to get there.
I was trying to segue a little bit.
So, all right, we'll jump in. We'll jump in. How did you come across Mr. Mike Steele of BBQ Champs Academy? You know, because you
Mike
guys,
Steele found me.
Yeah.
So as we talked earlier, for being a rookie, I did pretty good in my 2019 year. Come out being team of the year, ranked 5th in the world and 18th in the nation with Smithfield. So he captured me and said, "Hey, I want you to be on this up and coming BBQ Champs Academy tell-all class that nobody else is doing." I'm like, all right, you know, what do I need to do? He's like, well, just come up here to Shreveport, Louisiana, to the recording studio, and we'll film everything. Just bring your meat, and we'll film everything over 2 days. And I said, man, it sounds like a great deal. Nobody else is doing this. Why not? So over a 2-day period, we cooked chicken, brisket, rib, and pork butt. At that time, IBCA was doing pork butt. And so that's the same pork butt that I cooked at the American Royal and got 5th place at the Royal. So I taught all 4 meats. And then that's how it got me. So 2019 and 20 and 21, I mean, it's the same class, right? When they filmed me once, and it's the same class, and a lot of students bought it. I went back in January and refilmed my 2021 to current update. So now from 2019 to as of today, my class is on there, what I'm doing today. I made some tweaks and adjustments when I went to the East Coast, and I went back in the recording studio and I made all the adjustments on the BBQ Champs Academy. So if you bought my class in the past, all you have to do is log back in, and then you'll see where I did the update on brisket, chicken, rib, and pork butt.
Yeah.
And it's no additional cost.
Yeah, because that's great, because that's always there for you. And they, you know, and Mike runs it, you know, a tight ship with that.
Yeah.
You know, they
Their own community going, essentially.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
you know, and they watch, you know, nothing gets shared out. You know, so hey, I bought the class. Here, log in and do this, and next thing, no. You want the secrets? You buy the classes. So
Yeah, they've got
they
some type
check
of
the
cyber
IP
security
address.
system on that.
Yeah.
Oh, so no one can log in with your login and stuff like that. That's a tight ship.
Oh yeah.
Not like your Hulu
It'll
login.
take more than one IP address and shut you down if you log on with too many IP addresses.
Yeah.
Then you have to call Mike himself to get logged back in and explain why you're at 3 or 4 different IP addresses.
And good luck with that.
Yeah, Mike seems like a no BS
Yeah.
type of guy. You know?
No, Mike's a great guy.
That's when the lawyers call you.
Right?
Yeah, Mike's a great guy. We had him on the beginning of last year, and I think I pretty much took the day off. I think I only asked one question, and I just let Mike roll. And he rolled the whole episode.
Yes,
it
he
was
did.
fantastic. I just
Yes, he
kicked
did.
back. And,
Yep. Sometimes that's nice to just relax
Oh,
and
yeah.
just listen, you know?
You know,
I
actually,
have to do a sponsor change real quick. Here we go.
There you go.
B&B.
I'm
So
good, yeah.
So Juke said it cooked against him this weekend and he killed it. Was Juke there?
Yeah.
Juke Moreno?
No, Juke wasn't at the.
Cooked against him this weekend and he killed it. Cooked against him. Who's he talking
Did
about?
Mike cook this weekend?
Oh.
No.
Oh.
Mike Steele, yeah, he reserved
Steele.
branded. He cooked
Yeah.
somewhere else, though. He didn't cook.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay,
he
okay,
wasn't
okay.
at Houston. Yeah, Juke was somewhere else.
Got it,
down
got it.
there.
He cooked up in Dallas, Irving, Texas.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Mike
sir.
did up in Dallas.
Nice. What's up,
Hey,
Greg?
this
Hey, Ben Ross.
weekend though, I was happy at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. So Pitmaker, which to me is the #1 pit builder in the world because their pits are all over the world, and they're all fully insulated. They're just an amazing pit, less fuel, they burn better.
How does
more
the? I
efficient.
heard those kind of work. If it's the pit maker one I'm thinking of, they're cabinet smokers, but they work almost like a reverse flow. The way the air comes up and
Correct.
around and over. Can you explain that
Correct.
convection to us?
Yeah, so all of them aren't that. All of them aren't cabinets. Some
Okay.
are offset.
Okay.
But the way the exhaust system is on those cabinet smokers is there's no hole on the top of the pit.
Yes. Right.
All the exhaust has to come down to the below the bottom
Circles
rack and then goes back up in between the insulated walls, and it comes up the top.
That's cool.
So all the heat comes in around the walls. It goes down the wall inside the meat, and then through the exhaust port, which are built in between the walls as well, up and out. So that's why they can work in 35 degree below zero, and they work just as well as in 100 degrees. They work the exact same, no matter where you go as far as climate control. Then they're when it rains, the water never gets and touches your meat because there's no
hole.
It runs down along the sides on the inside to a water pan, so you never even get your food wet whenever it rains.
That's just pretty cool. I don't think I've seen a concept out there really like that.
It's quite interesting. So this weekend, I was on pit maker number 2, Los Gallos. It was George Shore, a brother against brother, basically. And some guys took my classes, and the guy on my team, he ran my chicken. He got 3rd place chicken this weekend. He got up on stage. I tied for 10th place rib, but I lost a 4-way tie. Ended up being 14, but I was happy having really a 10th place rib. And the judges didn't like the brisket that day. I think it was 138. I could be wrong on the brisket. We finished 14th overall out of 253 teams, but with the 3rd place chicken, tied for 10th rib, and a great tasting brisket. End of the day, we're happy with 14th overall. Team pit maker number 1, they did real well. They finished 9th place overall. So way to represent Team pit maker from Texas, from Humboldt, Texas, north of Houston.
Yeah. When we had spoke on the phone last week, you were telling me you were going to be cooking with them, but we are currently March 1st, if I'm not mistaken. So March, April, and May. So we're 2 months away from the month of May, which means one thing: Memphis in May. And you were telling me you were truly honored this year because you were asked to help represent a certain company down there. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it kind of put tears in my eyes, whenever you get called by these, people who you really admire. Keep in mind, I'm still a rookie, and I get mesmerized, starstruck by all these barbecue pit masters who you see on television and YouTube. And then when Willingham Barbecue Company, Seasoning and Rubs, calls you up and say, hey, we want you to come to be a presenter and for the pork shoulder. We've never won a grand champion on pork shoulder. The owner of Willingham Barbecue, Paul, he had taken my class. And the first time I met him was in Calhoun, Georgia during this KCBS tour. And he ran my brisket recipe with a little bit of his Willingham seasonings. He got a 180 brisket, his first brisket ever at a cook-off. And he was hooked, that my class is sincere. And that same cook-off, I reserve granted that cook-off. So we had a pretty good bond thereafter. And then he called me up a few months ago and asked me to come help represent Willingham Barbecue Spices and Rubs at Memphis in May, and to be a presenter. Yeah, that's an honor. It really did put tears in my eyes to have that. They cooked it 38 of the 40 years. I think they've only missed 2 years at Memphis in May, so they are a legacy team. They've got Harry Sue flying in. They've got Henry out of, I think he's West Virginia, Oklahoma. They got Scott Parr coming from, I think he's Georgia. I think he's the president of the GBC coming up. And there's one other person, I think, coming up to help run this and hopefully pull out a first place pork shoulder this year. So that's it. I've never cooked Memphis in May, but to be asked to be a presenter for the meat whenever they come around, if we make it to the finals, right?
So,
yeah.
so again, for those that don't understand, explain what the presenter actually, what that role
Great
does.
question. Great question.
So good call. So I've never cooked Memphis May, but I've been told here's how it is. We're gonna have 3 of us. We're dressed real nice. So it's like a dog and pony show. Who has the best silver tongue? So we're gonna have to sell ourselves, sell the team, sell the ingredients, sell the meat, like a car salesman, right? So the pork shoulder will be in the pit on a big platter with all the greenery and the vegetables, almost like going to
Whole hog or
the world food, right?
Yeah, okay.
You want to make it very edible, presentable, appeasing to the eye, and the judges are going to critique you and grade you on how well your basic knowledge of the meat, the tenderness, the parts of the meat, because they may say, okay, pull the money muscle. We want to taste the money muscle. Pull the tubes. Pull the collar. And so I've been asked to be the one to actually reach in there in the pork shoulders and make sure I get the right tubes,
That's
right
huge.
part of the money muscle, and
Okay.
present that to the judges. So they're going to base it on all of our basic knowledge and history and how we blend the seasonings and the rubs and the glazes together to get what we came up with. The right wood, because wood is a seasoning, right? So the smoke, we got to get everything right. So they're going to test our knowledge on how we know what we're doing. So it's a pretty important part not to stutter and to be exactly right on where we have to be.
Yeah.
To be on point.
Yeah.
On point.
Now
Yes,
with
sir.
Memphis in May, if I'm not mistaken, you're only cooking one category, depending on which
We
one
are.
you
We're-
set up. A pork shoulder or ribs or whole hog.
Correct. So this year, Paul has chosen for us to do pork shoulder.
Yeah.
So you're correct, different cuts of pork, but we're doing all pork shoulder. So we're going to get, I believe, all of our pork shoulders from Andy Lugo, which is my meat supplier in San Antonio, Texas. He's going to vet cases and cases and cases of different pork shoulder, and I'm going to take down 16 different pork shoulders for this event
Holy
in
moly.
May. And Lord willing, we're going to give it the best we have. I think we have a dream team put together.
Yeah.
And we're all going to rely on each other. And it's pork is pork, right? I mean, overall, my first year, I finished 3rd in pork butt and 4th in ribs for KCBS. So they're trusting me and my knowledge to help get this team to first place.
So what do we?
I'm really honored.
What do you? Some of your suggestions when you go into a pork? I know that people with briskets, they're up in the game. They're bringing the Wagyu and this and that. When you're going for pork, when you're going for shoulder, Boston butt, are you looking for Carabuta? Are you looking for Duroc? What is the go-to you see a lot of guys kind of using brand-wise for pork butts?
Yeah, you're right. Everybody's using kind of different pork butts, what they have in their local area. Since 2019 to current, I've been using Prairie Fresh.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to hit Prairie Fresh up pretty hard. I think they're already a main sponsor of Memphis in May anyway.
Okay.
So we're gonna get a whole lot of pork butts from Prairie Fresh, and we're gonna go through them and pick the best one. So
Yeah.
I prefer Prairie Fresh.
Mhm.
Paul, he's now the owner of Willingham Rubs, and he's on board with that decision. So I'm just honored to let him kind of let me guide on the meat selection. And I'll be up there with Andy Lugo, is the owner of Meat Hustler, and he provides a lot of competition meat around the country. And we're going to order tons of cases, and we're going to go through every one of them to pick the best ones. And we're going to take 16 of them down to Memphis, and hopefully we get it.
Yeah.
So say again, I mean, I was really honored to get that phone call from Willingham Barbecue, Spices and Rubs.
Yeah, I could, like you said, you can hear the honor in your voice right now, and I certainly heard it last week when we were on the phone, getting everything set up for today. And so, congratulations. Like you said, that is a true honor for sure. Mm-hmm. And, best of luck to you at Memphis in May 2022.
Jesus.
Oh, crazy.
Another biggie.
It's my grandson. He just walked in from school.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Hey, what's up, pal? She's
Hey, what's up?
Memphis in May, the Royale,
Swamp.
the American Royale, and what's the other one I'm thinking? Those are the 3 biggest.
Jack.
The Jack. I mean, those are like the 3 bigs.
Yeah.
The big ones where everything comes together from all the previous comps, the invites,
Right.
the Invite
the
only.
Jack is strictly
invite only. Okay,
Yeah.
the Jack. Yeah, that's right. The Jack is strictly invite only.
Yeah.
And you can only
No, the Jack, not necessarily. So
Oh, no?
if you win
Tell us.
seven grand champions in Texas, you have to have 50 teams or more. So if you get 7 grand champions that are over 50 teams, you automatically get drawn, automatically enter the Jack.
No kidding.
The other 49 states, if you have 25 teams or more and you have over 7 GCs, you qualify automatically.
Oh.
Now,
wow.
for the Jack. Now, if you have, let's say I'm from Texas and I have 3 grand champions and those cook-offs had over 50 teams, but Chicken Fried Barbecue also has 3 grand champions of 3 other 50 or more teams.
Mm-hmm.
We have 3 bungs in the draw from Texas.
Oh, okay.
So they'll go behind the steel curtain and then they'll draw a bung from Texas, and whoever bung or name is on that, that's their entry into the Jack.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, there may be some legacy teams, teams that are celebrities that automatically get to come
Yep.
and just go, But usually us little guys, we have to have 7 grand champions or get our name drawn from that state.
Oh, no. Okay. See, even I'm still learning.
I mean, we're always learning. That's what makes it fun. You know what I mean?
And speaking of always learning, Lee, when we were talking, you were, and speaking of Chicken Fried Barbecue, Bill Purvis, you guys took a little trip, didn't you? Or
We took a little trip up to Kansas City, Kansas.
Kansas City,
Is that
Kansas.
the trip you're referring to?
Yep, to go to Joe's up at Slaps Barbecue. You two guys were going to take his class. So you guys proven on the circuit, but yet you're still going and taking classes from other pitmasters.
You have to. Phil Bridgen too, Lucky Charms, and Bill Purvis, and myself, we kind of hit the East Coast tour. We were touring all over last year in KCBS. And at the end of the year, Brad from Getting Basted was number 1, and Joe Pierce from Slaps was number 2. Slaps was putting the class on last week, 2 weeks ago. Why would you not go continue your education in barbecue from one of the best in the world?
Yeah.
So even the best still continues to take classes every year. You need to continue your education, know what's out there.
It's true.
It's the price you pay is just almost an entry fee and some meat costs for a competition. So skip one competition and go see what the best are doing. It's worth it. Techniques, even if you were to take one little nugget away from a class, like, I didn't think about that, or some type of technique, techniques can also win you a grand champion. Your profile may be fine, but a technique could help you win. Just one more thing over the edge.
Mm-hmm.
And the good thing is you get to taste the food. You get to see what it tastes like when he's doing it in front of you. At the end of the day, it's worth it. So, yeah, Chicken Fried Barbecue and we went up there to Kansas City, Kansas 2 weekends ago, and we took Joe Pierce's class, and it's a great class. So when Joe Pierce ever offers his class again, those listening, take the effort and go do it. He finished number 1 rib king of the year for KCBS and 2nd overall. So why would you not?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely.
It just makes sense. Continuing education in any field that you're in. I've been a full-time real estate broker for almost 20 years, and we're always taking continuing education classes because the industry changes. No different than barbecue. The industry changes. Things that may have worked in competitions a decade ago maybe aren't working as well these days. Maybe there's something else. So there's a new
some of the
flavor
original
profile.
OG, the original gangsters of barbecue, the older generation, they don't believe in glazing their brisket or injecting their brisket. They just want to run salt, pepper, garlic on the brisket, but yet jump into the competition field. Yeah, their briskets are great. They're great for restaurants. They're soft, moist, juicy, tender. It's what everything you would ever want to have in a brisket. But when it comes to a competition with somebody who's injecting it, a little bit more beefy flavor and a little bit of
salt.
sweetness on top of the glaze, you don't have a chance. You don't have a chance.
I never put barbecue sauce or any glaze on my brisket ever, except for at the KCBS. It was just tiny little, just a little something mixed with the au jus that maybe
you don't need much.
You don't need much. It's just gonna have a little wetness on it. And I never thought of ever doing that in my whole life to beef ever.
And just so you guys know, I
Left it in a
cannot
sandwich?
see any comments. The way my phone is, I can't
all right.
see any comments. So,
Linda,
so
what's-
if people are commenting, I can't see any comments.
What's up, Rob Arosha?
Robert Rocha, what's happening?
Linda.
Yeah, there was actually a former guest, and actually he came up in my mind the other day, and I need to get in touch with him. But Steve Jimenez, I'll be hollering at you, brother. It's been too long. We got to catch up.
Kids Q.
Kids
yeah,
Q.
Steve Jimenez, Kids Q.
Great
Yes,
guy.
yes.
It was awesome. We've had him. Oh God, has to be at least probably 2 years ago.
Okay.
If not,
But make sure
at
you
the
pronounce
beginning.
the Hispanic last name correctly.
Yeah, Steve Jimenez.
Jimenez.
Jimenez. Yeah, great guy doing awesome things.
Yes,
But,
sir.
You know, but yeah, he's like, "What's up, Lee?" Lee is one hell of a dude. You know, and
Man, thank
he's
you.
right. You know, but that's the thing. The camaraderie that we have all gotten in barbecue from, depending on no matter what level we're on.
It's almost unmatched to any other industry, I feel. I'm obviously being a little biased here because we're barbecue guys, but I haven't seen in many other industries where such a tight-knit camaraderie and family and people willing to help you and move forward. Because people want to beat you you want to beat your competitor at his best. You don't want to beat him because he defaulted because his injector broke, and then you beat him that way.
Right.
You say, you know what? Here you go. Use my injector because I'm going to beat you at the top of your game if I'm going to beat you at all. Right? That's kind of
that
what it all
happened
comes
this
down
weekend
to.
at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. Exactly. Somebody's injector broke.
No
Apparently,
way.
it might have been your tent, man.
I didn't know that. I was just throwing a ball up in the air here.
No, you're right. And
No
they
shit.
came over and borrowed my injector.
No way.
You're right. We're all part of the barbecue family, and we want to be successful.
No.
And now, years ago, before I was cooking, I understand the older generation was really loose-lipped, tight-lipped. They wouldn't tell you any secrets. It was
heard that.
all find out yourself. Go spend all the money you have and learn over trial and tribulation. But now, luckily, around that Friday night solo stove campfire, everybody kind of hangs around and they do talk a little bit of secrets and give a little bit of nibble to the up and coming superstars. So, and I'm appreciative of that as well. I sat around many little campfires on Friday night.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even say a word, because I was a new guy, but the pros were talking amongst each other, but I'd listen to what they were saying and take mental notes and go back and use it.
That's right.
Exactly. So Lee, we got one more question for
From
you,
Rob?
and it comes from Rob Arosha.
Yep.
Ask Lee about 13-minute chicken.
Yeah, that's a true story. So originally I do 45-minute whole chickens, right? They're whole chickens. I cook them from 10:45 to 11:30 for a 12 o'clock turn in. And then I got to be more comfortable where I can put my chicken on at 11:15 for a 12 o'clock turn in. These are whole 4-pound chickens.
When they're rolling at what, 325 or something? Real hot?
No, sir, right around
350s?
400.
Oh, 400 even. Wow. Okay, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Normally it was at 325, but then
Okay.
I started pushing my time to 11:15 to 11:45.
Okay.
Turn in 12. Well, I cook on a pit maker carbon cue on my chicken, and you add a bunch of base charcoal in there and you light it up. Well, I left the lid open, and it cooks like a drum. If you leave the lid open, it can
flare-ups.
get hot real quick.
Yeah.
So I went inside, and I didn't realize how quick the time was, but I spent too much time with the lid open. When I came back with my chicken, all my B&B charcoal was completely lit up. So I closed the lid, and it went to 600 degrees. And now it's 11:20.
Oh, no.
I have 2 4-pound chickens I'm looking at raw, 12 o'clock turn in. So I throw a bunch of ice on the grill just to cool the fire down. I got down to 500 degrees. Now it's 11:30. I put the chicken on. It sounded like bacon in there instantly. It's just frying up.
Now, what was it, a whole
End of
chicken
the
or
day-
was it thighs that you put in for
Whole.
that? Whole.
No, these are whole chickens.
Whole chickens, okay.
One whole chicken cut in half. So
Yeah.
Two whole halves.
Yep.
And at 11:43, I probed the thigh, and I was at 178 degrees. I'm like, I got to pull it.
Let's go.
13 minutes, 178, pull it, glazed it, turned it in. Rob, was it 61 teams, I think? Hit first place chicken.
Wow. That's amazing. That's a
That's
great
awesome.
story.
Right.
That's a great. Sometimes you over prepare,
Yeah.
but when you just kind of do what you know, you get it done.
Yeah. Well, Lee,
That's right.
that's all the time we got. But thank you so much. This was an absolute honor talking to you, sir.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you guys for inviting me. I do appreciate that.
Oh,
I really do.
problems. Hang in there 1 second. We're just going to roll this out, and we'll jump on
right
back
back.
with you and say bye. Awesome.
Amazing. Can't believe it. I just didn't see the guy the whole way. It's still
Right next to you. Once you said it, I'm like,
right next door.
like, son of a
well, we were like 3:35 or 3.
because you guys were on doing the lives. You go, oh, there's
He was behind us the whole-
Maker's thing.
Yeah, I did. I said, I did. I videotaped it.
And
during
I
the live.
never even
Check
thought
out
of
the
it.
Pit
I
Maker
never
pits,
even thought of it.
Videotaped your pit and everything, and man, yeah, that's just
Awesome.
That's pretty
but
funny.
we had mentioned Bill Purvis from Chicken Fried Barbecue.
Yep.
If you guys tune in tonight to the BBQ Champs Academy, Bill will be on with Mike.
Yep.
I believe at 8 o'clock they go live, 8 o'clock Eastern. I'm not 100% sure. I'm up all the time, so
Yep.
I'm not
So
sure.
check
on the
that out.
times.
And also-
But yeah, Bill will be there.
I wanted to just a couple more shout outs that I forgot. Grumpus, excellent meeting you. Papa Texas, great meeting you as well. And a big congratulations to Marty V, just got made newest moderator of Texas BBQ Chapter. So congrats, Marty V.
Yep. And
That's
then,
it.
are you ready for next week?
Should I say it or did you want to say it?
Oh, allow me. Coming fresh off his reserve Grand
Grand champion.
Championship at the 2022 Houston Livestock and Rodeo
BBQ competition.
Barbecue Competition,
Clarence Joseph.
Miss Papa Joe himself from Mama and Papa Joe's,
Yep.
Clarence Joseph,
Better known as CJ.
better known as CJ, will be joining us next Tuesday.
And it's funny because when I met him, I'm
Oh,
like,
it's
I'm like,
it's
yeah,
funny.
I guess Johnny booked you for 2 weeks. He's like, yeah, damn right he did. He's like, if I get a walk, we'll have something great to talk about. And boy, did you get a walk, CJ.
Absolutely.
So, hell
tune in
yeah.
next week.
That's
with
going to be amazing.
Clarence Joseph. But welcome back, brother. Welcome back to the snow.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it.
Hey, no problem.
The Texas boy is like, oh, you brought the cold weather with you. The day I left, it was like 55 and sunny.
It was 65 on Wednesday. A foot of snow got dumped on Friday, so I don't want to hear it. Well, that's it for this week, folks. We'd like to thank you all for joining us. Catch the video wherever podcasts are found. Hit YouTube, that subscribe button, notification bell. You have all our episodes right there at your fingertips. On social media, find us at all the links listed down below.
Yeah.
Questions or comments, please send them to pitlifebbqpodcast@gmail.com. And like always, subscribe, like, rate, and review.
review.
Hit that share button.
That's right.
All my TBC boys, thank you so much for the care packages. I will get my hands on you at some point. I promise you that. I warn you that.
I feel bad because he's got some big
I got
mitts.
some big hands. I have snacks for the ride home.
He does.
I
Those
got
snacks
beaver
will,
nuggets.
those beaver nuggets will make it out of the damn parking lot. We're lucky if they get to the car ride.
Yeah, we'll see. Guys, till next week, keep the smoke rolling.
Keep the smoke rolling, baby.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily